But Black people pick up on Indian people's racism because it is quite apparent. It's something that that is there. It's obvious. So I'm
One thing that is quite disturbing is that how can Indians be racist towards black when literally they have Indians that are even darker than black people? Just a quick voiceover because I forgot to do my intro. The video we're about to watch, so this woman, she was talking about her experience, what she did experience and notice about Indians, how they are being so racist towards black people. So I want you guys to watch the video and leave your thought, and then I will definitely come back and leave my thought what I think about this video.
Hi friends, I hadn't planned on making another video right now, but Indian people are coming for me in my comments. And so I know I'm on the right track with what I'm saying. But what I want to talk about in this specific video is Indian people and anti-Black racism specifically. So whether this is within the country of India, or whether this is when Indian people immigrate to any part of the world, whether it be on the African continent, in North America, South America, wherever, Indian people have, and again, I'm not saying every single Indian person, but I'm talking about Indian people generally, our society, our culture, the belief systems that Indian people hold, etc. Whether you're talking to, say African students who study in India, which there are African students who are there, or whether you're talking about, say, Kenyans. There's a large population of Kenya that are Indian people that have immigrated to that country, or South Africa, or Canada, or, the United States, whatever. But Black people pick up on Indian people's racism because it is quite apparent. It's something that that is there. It's obvious. So I'm just going to give you an example of me, my family, and the Indian people in South Africa. When I grew up there, I spent the first 12 years of my life under apartheid. So we had servants, maids, cooks, gardeners, etc. And all of these people were Africans. They were Black people. And all of the Indians in South Africa had servants. Okay, they were all Black. Now, how were these servants treated? They were treated as subhuman. They were not considered to be human beings with feelings. They drank out of different cups. So Indian people would not share their table with the servants, who were an integral part of their household. They took care of their children. They drove them everywhere. They cooked for them. But they had to eat off of separate dishes. They could not sit on the furniture. They, if, say, for example, when we left our home and we traveled, so we lived in Pietermaritzburg, we traveled to Durban on the weekends, holidays, whatever. Our maid would come with us. She was not allowed to sleep on or sit on our furniture or sleep on our furniture, so she had to sleep on the floor. These are things that all Indian people did in South Africa. And now I'm just talking about South Africa. I'm not talking about, say, when Indian people immigrate to other countries. But this is true even in first generation Indians. Because, say, if an Indian person had to marry a Black person, 9 times out of 10, that Indian person's family is going to completely disown the Indian person who married a Black person. Now, Indian people generally, they want Indian people to marry within their they want Indian people to marry other Indian people, and then they even go into they want the same caste, and they even have subcastes and all of this stuff. So, but if an Indian person marries a white person, or say an Asian person, it's not considered to be as heinous of an act as if an Indian person married a Black person. So this can be tied to the caste system because, like I mentioned in my previous video, Indian people are racist towards other Indian people. And some of this is based on skin color. It's not entirely based on skin color, but there is a factor that is, that is apparent in that. So Ava DuVernay made a movie called Origin, and it's based on Isabel Wilkerson's book Caste, which somebody just pointed out. And it's very difficult for me to talk about these very heavy topics in 10 minutes. So I can't cover everything, but Indian people are inherently racist as a culture and as a society. And then within that racism, there is a hierarchy. So yes, while an Indian society might be racist towards Western people, Western culture, white people, etc. Just like Vivek Ramaswamy making that comment about how, he made all these disparaging comments about, Americans. And he was talking about white Americans, how they're not as smart and blah, blah, blah. These are not uncommon things that Indian people say within themselves. I have been privy to these conversations in whether it's, say a friend situation or families or extended families or just in my Indian community. These are very common beliefs that most all Indian people will espouse. They will say things like, well, white people have no culture. Their food is horrible. They just go on and on and on. But when it comes to Black people specifically, Indian people have extremely racist views about Black people. And it doesn't matter how nice this Black person is, how educated they might be. None of those things matter. And that's why I say that a lot of Indian people, they align themselves with a very far right-wing kind of Trump ideology. So you might take somebody from, say, America who is a Trumpster, and they espouse all these very racist views. And you could take an Indian person, and in many respects, those views are going to align because Indian people generally tend to hold very racist views. It goes back to the caste system, yes, but it also ties into other aspects. Because as I pointed out before, there are the so-called untouchables in India, and Indian people are racist towards them as well. So this is all a very, these are complicated things, and I'm just trying to do my best to share these ideas because we are in terrible times right now in the United States and in the world generally. So I guess Indian people, if you guys want to come for me, come for me. I am not saying anything that's untrue. This is the truth, and I think it's kind of an open secret.
For me, I don't think this is something that is new about Indians. I know this about Indians, but one thing that is quite disturbing is that how can Indians be racist towards Black when literally they have Indians that are even darker than Black people. Anyways, just like I said, like this is not new, because even Indians, they have issues with Black Indians. White Indians have issues with Black Indians. You see, most Indians, the Black ones, they like to bleach up their skin and lighten up their skin because they want to be light Indians, because the white Indians always discriminate the Black Indians. So it's a common thing. So the woman did talk about how Indian discriminates against their people who help them, who work for them in their house, not letting them eat in the same plate, not letting them sit in their couch. Indians? I mean, I just don't want to be mean in this video. If we want to talk about this topic, about discrimination, not letting their home workers sit on their couch, drink from their cup, eat from their plates, I don't think India should be among any country to talk about that or to behave in that manner, because India is not known to be one of the most cleanest country in the world. They wouldn't even make top 20 on that list. So I don't think they should be doing that. Then be discriminative about black. It's not new. It's not something that is new. I know of a woman who got married to a black American that her parents disowned her mother and dad. She's not talking to her mother, she's not talking to her dad, and literally this woman, she has more than 5 kids for this guy. Still, her and her parents, they are not talking just because she got married to a black guy. So there was this incident a YouTuber shared on YouTube about an Indian woman behavior in Nigeria. She's a Nigerian. She said she went to a store to go get some clothes, a boutique to go get some clothes. She was sitting down and this Indian woman walked into that same store, and then the Indian woman wanted to sit down as well, and then she did to the woman like, move. And she was trying to sit down, and she did to this woman, move, can you move? This lady was like, how dare you do that? How dare you do that? You Indian woman, you came to my country and you're trying to discriminate me in my own country? How does that work? How does that work? Racism is something that I think it's going to be forever be there. Even Indians, they do discriminate among themselves. You see white Indians discriminating black Indians. Even in Africans, they do discriminate among themselves. You see one tribe discriminating this tribe. It's all the same, it's the same discrimination. So I just think this is something that has been there and it's going to continue to be there. I just don't understand why Indians should be racist towards a black, literally, because Indians, probably half of Indians, they are black. Some are even darker than Africans, darker than black people. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. Just like I said previously, that even the white Indians do discriminate towards the black Indians. So it is what it is. Racist discrimination is something that's been there, since we were born. And I think, I don't know, how that is going to change anytime soon. But anyways, leave your thought what you think about this one. If you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching me. Bye for now. See you in my next video.